Welcome viewers. May I start with a biblical quotation? When the truth wears its shoes, the lie would have taken a global round. This is a very popular quote from the Bible. In India today, especially in our state Kerala, there are several untruths and half-truths taking the rounds, especially in regard to the CAA, what we call the Citizen Amendment Bill. We have with us none other than the Honorable Governor of Kerala, Shri Arif Mohammad Khan, to discuss the truth and expose the untruths and the half-truths. Welcome to the Doordarshan, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much.
May I start with a personal question? You have been a different individual. You have been different as a student leader in your days in Aligarh as the chairman of the University Union. You have been different as a politician in diverse political parties. You have been different as a union minister, cabinet minister in Mr. Rajiv Gandhi's cabinet. And of late, as Governor of Kerala also, you have been different. I would say your difference is because you live and fight relentlessly for what you think is right. But in the process of this fight, in the process of being refreshingly different from others, you are being drawn into controversies one after the other. Now, personally, to be very frank, do you enjoy being controversial or do controversies hurt you?
No, I don't enjoy being in the controversies, but I enjoy standing for my convictions, standing for something which I feel is right, but I don't have that attitude that I alone am right. I am open to reason. Even the recent thing at Kannur, I started my statement with a quotation that I firmly believe that my opinion is right, but I am cognizant of the fact that it may be wrong. I firmly believe that whatever criticism you have leveled is unfair, is wrong, but I am cognizant of the fact that it may be right. I said, then what is the way out? The way out is that we should discuss things. We should have a healthy debate. But my experience for last 15 days, since I am facing these protests and black flags and placards and all kind of statements against me is, I have extended an invitation to all of them. I said, when they were sitting outside Raj Bhavan, I was in Cochin that day. I sent a word to them.
You invited them for dialogue?
Yes. I said, tomorrow morning come to the Raj Bhavan. You are sitting outside. I have no problem with that. But I am inviting you to come inside. We will discuss about it. And if you don't want to come, please let me know. I will come to the place where you are sitting. But they disappeared from the scene an hour before I reached Trivandrum. Naturally, my assumption is that they did not want it. They did not want me to come to the place. They were not coming here, but they ruled out any possibility where I can land there. Similarly, at Calicut, I am inside the guest house of the university. Outside, these slogans are being raised against the law, maybe against me. I asked the officers to go and invite them. They can come inside, have a cup of tea, and we will discuss. They don't come. I thought maybe officers have not conveyed the message properly. A senior Malayali writer, Madam Pat Shahjahan, who is an old friend, who is not in Kerala these days, he is in UAE. But that day he was in Calicut. He came to see me. I requested him to go and invite them. He went there, and when he came, and I must also tell you that he has a different opinion. He does not agree with me.
Okay.
But he is a friend. He came to see me. He went to them, and when he came back, he laughingly told me, they are saying that we have come to protest, not to talk. So I said that when you shut the door for talks, then you only create an atmosphere of violence and hatred. Mahatma Gandhi, on 3 different occasions, he sent invitation to his critics. They did not accept, and we know what happened. This
Yes.
is what I said there.
Yes.
Yes.
If I may intervene, you have referred to the recent protests against you. Now, what actually happened at Kannur at the Indian History Congress inaugural session? Because the viewers would like to hear from the horse's mouth.
You know, first thing, according to the protocol, governor's program cannot exceed
More than an hour.
beyond an hour.
Yeah.
Duration is strictly 1 hour. It starts with national anthem, it ends with national anthem. Governor speaks in last. First, they made me stay there and listen to all these speeches which were highly critical of the central government and what central government has done in Kashmir on CAA, highly critical, unfair criticism.
And
For
one among the
1.5 hours.
Yeah, and one among the speakers was not on the list of speakers, right?
It was clear departure.
Yeah.
You can see the
Yeah,
schedule
I did
as
see the
approved
video.
by the Raj Bhavan
Yes.
and as agreed to by the organizers. Mr. Irfan Habib and the incoming president, the handing over of charge, it is clearly mentioned 1 minute.
Right.
Now Mr. Irfan Habib took the mic, started speaking, started directing his whatever he was saying to me, to the extent that he looked at me
Exactly.
and said, talking about CA, first he started with Kashmir, then he came to CA, and then he looked at me and said, this is what police is doing to students in your own alma mater. Now he was saying these things like these protesters at the Calicut University only to get published in the press, or he wanted response from me.
He was not only speaking, interrupting you, but also he was seen, as per the video clippings, he was seen moving towards you.
No, not just moving towards me. Now when I came there, after 1.5 hours, in 1 hour and 5 or 7 minutes, the program should have ended, including my speech.
Yes.
Now I am being called to speak exactly after 1 hour and 30 minutes. Who were these people who were speaking? Clear-cut violation of the protocol, clear-cut violation, breach of the security. Those whose names did not figure in the approved program to speak there, they were invited to speak there. I patiently, quietly listened to whatever they were saying. In my opinion, it was totally unfair, baseless. I did not object. I did not even point out to the organizers that this is breach of protocol.
Yeah.
Even
Would you say the whole drama was pre-planned?
It looks
because the protesters had come ready with placards.
They had come ready with placards, and more so after this clear breach, which they were not actually, I think they were not, they did not take into notice that now we are living in times where anything one does and says
it was very
is recorded.
transparent.
Is recorded. So they were not maybe, but the manner in which the organizers are trying to whitewash everything, that gives me impression that this was a pre-planned, absolutely pre-planned thing. They are the manner in which the organizers are now trying to whitewash.
Okay, in that case, was there an intelligence failure? Because naturally the police should have averted such a scene, such a situation.
No, police people were, I won't blame them. Why I won't blame them?
Can they be in the dark?
I tell you, Because mostly in a university, this kind of behavior is not expected. These are the people who are saying that they are, security was doing its job. They did not allow anybody to enter the venue unless she or he was a delegate to the India IH.
Right.
To the extent that a senior journalist from Mumbai who met me,
Yes.
who came there, he was outside the gate. When he came to see me at the guest house, he said he heard my speech. I said, where were you? He said, I was standing outside because police did not allow me to get inside. This I am saying in order to clarify one more thing. The point has been made out that police took away the students or somebody. Students were not there in that venue. It were only the delegates.
Right.
And I could identify them. They were from JNU. Not everybody from JNU or Aligarh or Jamia Millia or Delhi University, not everybody. They were the camp followers. In fact, they started creating trouble when Irfan Habib Sahib physically moved in my direction. I was not looking at him. And he had a scuffle with the ADC.
Exactly.
ADC shirt he pulled down.
Yes.
It was unbuttoned. His ceremonial, that rope, that fell down. Then what he did, when ADC successfully stopped him from reaching me physically, he went behind the sofas and tried to come on my left side. Then the security officer, Mr. Rashid, he stopped him. At that point, Vice Chancellor also stood up. Vice Chancellor is, you can see the photographs, Vice Chancellor is holding him in his arms and stopping. And then Vice Chancellor, on one hand, he is holding him, stopping him from coming to me physically, and on one hand he is saying that there is no breach of security. Why he wanted to come to me? If he wanted to protest, he is saying that he wanted to protest, he could have walked out. Why he wanted to come to me?
Yeah, can we
what
conclude?
Was his intention?
Can we conclude his intention was nothing but an attempt to attack you?
I mean,
physically assault you?
Otherwise tell me, I am not going to use this word, but otherwise let these people explain what is the intention. If somebody is charging towards you physically, he had a scuffle with the ADC, he had a scuffle with the security officer, and he is being held by the Vice Chancellor. Vice Chancellor is using both his arms and holding him back. From what Vice Chancellor suspected that he was going to do, that he was holding him back?
Doesn't it amount to a constitutional breakdown when the head of the state, the governor himself, is not feeling secure enough? And have you sought or have you got any explanation from the concerned authorities?
Well, concerned authorities are coming and talking to me, but I, instead of blaming anybody else, I will blame myself. As far as the universities are concerned, there is bit of confusion in public mind, not only in public mind, even in official circles. Constitution and the law has ensured that the government does not interfere, elected government does not interfere in the functioning of the universities. And that is the reason why, according to the constitutional scheme, according to the law, the universities, vice chancellors are administratively responsible to the chancellor, not to the government.
Yes.
But what has happened over a period of time? Government had no legal authority to give them directions. And chancellors, so far, now I am having a rethink about it. So far, not only me, most of the governors, they possibly did not fully realize their duty as chancellor. They behaved more like governors. The chancellor's role is totally different from that of the governor. In the discharge of my functions as governor, functions, not discretion, functions, I need aid and advice of the Council of Ministers. And I'm making it clear,
Yes.
not in the exercise of my discretion.
Yes.
There are discretionary powers as well, provided by the Constitution. But in the discharge of my normal function, I need aid and advice of the Council of Ministers. In the discharge of my duties as Chancellor, I need nobody's advice. And I must realize this now, after this incident. When I see the law, I see the Constitution, then I see that this is direct. Constitution places this responsibility directly on the Chancellor.
Right.
And many of these, in Kerala, for instance, I'll tell you, Kerala has a great reputation in education. What some of these universities have done during last few months, the name of Kerala has been maligned. There are scandals where extra marks are being given, then decisions are being withdrawn. Vice chancellors, they come under some bodies of the university, they bring undue pressure on them. They are not able to withstand the pressure.
Yes.
And I have, in fact, last Vice Chancellor conference, if you might have seen the reports, I told the Vice Chancellors, your duty is to conduct the affairs in accordance with the law. And if pressure comes on you, then you stand by the law. If you are not able to face that pressure, and inform these people that law is this, you are asking me to do this, there is a contradiction between the two, therefore I am referring the matter to the Chancellor. I said, I will take the decision. If you don't want to earn their displeasure, you don't do it, but refer the cases to me. Because I am concerned about the manner in which the good name of Kerala is leader in education, it is being maligned because of I'm not making any allegation. It has, whatever has appeared in the press has pained me great deal.
Yes. And you have intervened, you have interfered whenever something goes wrong with the university.
I called the meeting of the Vice Chancellor.
Right, I agree. You have been asserting as the Chancellor.
No, now more so. Now after this Kannur thing, even till yesterday, my attitude was that I will go by the old practices, recommendation by things used to be done. Now I have decided no. Universities are my responsibility as Chancellor.
I agree with the constraints of Vice Chancellor and the university administration. But going back to the Kannur incident, see, when there is a law and order breakdown, when the police had prior information, obviously they should have had prior information, they should have taken precautions. And that is where my question is, did the police fail in their duty providing adequate security to the governor?
Actually, police did not fail in providing adequate security to the governor. But when? There is saying that if, I don't exactly remember, but if the boundary itself starts damaging the crop, then who can protect it? Here, from the sequence of events, it is clear that the organizers were involved in this. How police could have known about it? It is impossible. Police could have known about it if some conspiracy was being hashed by individuals. But if it has been hashed in connivance with the organizers, then what police could have done, you tell me? There was no way, because the organizers have finalized the program with the staff of the Raj Bhavan, and they themselves decided to. Now, organizers calling somebody and asking him to speak, did you expect the police person to go on the stage and tell them that this is not part of the protocol? At that stage, it was impossible for the police. So, police is not to be blamed. The whole thing, which is to be looked into it, that since when on the stage it is clear that organizers were responsible for this departure, but they had decided it earlier. What is to be inquired into is they had decided to violate the protocol and cause security breach when they were on the stage, or they were party to this conspiracy much earlier than the program happened. That is something which is to be looked into. As far as that particular day, it is clear that it is the organizers who are responsible.
Do you mean to say that the Kerala police have to be exonerated?
Kerala police is not really to be blamed, because my behavior was such. From stage, as soon as these two girls got up and they started showing play cards, police moved towards them. I told them, please don't. As long as they do not create any disturbance, I am ready to see any play cards against me, any black flags, I do not mind. So how can I hold them responsible? They are not. They had, I could see them. They immediately moved towards them. But they could not have done the same thing on the stage. It is the organizers who are responsible. Since when they knew that this is going to happen, that is something which has to be inquired into.
See, not only the Kerala governor, but also governors visiting the state from other parts of the country. For instance, Najma Heptullah, the governor of Manipur, she was blocked. Black flags were waved at her, sticks were thrown on her car at Alway when she was on her way to Lakshadweep. Similarly, the Karnataka Chief Minister, Mr. Yediyurappa, he was blocked at several places. He had come on a private visit, a personal visit, rather a pilgrimage. He came to the Padmanabha Swami temple where black flags were shown at him. In Kannur, again, his vehicle, his convoy was blocked. So, all this, what message does this convey?
This is all very unfortunate, and I can at this stage I can only say that I have taken note of all these things, and I am here to ensure not only me, every governor. We have elected governments in the state. The institution of the governor, the function of the governor is meant to ensure that the conduct of the business of the government is strictly in accordance with the constitutional and legal provisions. And this is, you cannot use more strong words to denounce these instances where people have tried to, some people, because of political reasons, they try to take law in their own hands. In fact, I was in Delhi. Despite these things happening, I have to defend, because always remember, I have two functions. One function is to protect, preserve, and defend the constitution and law.
Yes.
And devote myself to the service and well-being of the people of Kerala. When Delhi, this question was raised to me, that it has been alleged that it were people from Kerala who created violence in Mangalore. I said, as far as I know, Keralites are not given to violence. They can show black flags, they can show placards. Outside, I will do my best to defend
the people of Kerala.
Of course, I will do. Why? Because if something happens, then again, instead of blaming them, I should take the blame. That why these violations are taking place. And I am fully cognizant of these things. But you have to the responsible people, people concerned for maintenance of the law and order, you have to bring it to their attention if they are ignoring it, and then you have to wait for a time. But I can only assure you that I am cognizant of all these breaches, and to me they are very serious breaches.
Very good.
Yes.
Now, if you could take me and our viewers into confidence, has there been any inquiry into what happened at Kannur? Has there been any action or any action in the offing?
I've already told you there is a problem. Problem is that government cannot go beyond a point.
Because it's a university.
And so far, chancellors have viewed themselves more as governors than playing the role which is expected when you are directly responsible for these universities. So, the inquiry definitely is on, but it has to be conducted at various levels. Certain things, police department, but other things I have already made that point. That as chancellor, I need to initiate certain actions, which I have already done.
Now, see, simultaneously while we have having this interview, or rather this interaction, the Kerala Assembly is having a special session in Trivandrum. And although technically it is to approve the extension of the concessions to the scheduled castes and scheduled tribes, there is another agenda on cards. That is, resolution is sought to be adopted against CAA. Now, as you rightly said, you are bound to protect and preserve the constitution and the law. Now, does this session embarrass you?
Not really. It does not embarrass me, because we have a constitutional scheme. We have certain subjects. When the center makes a law, the states have no choice. Then there is a concurrent list where the states have the discretion. Then there is a state list where any law which they pass is applicable to the state. I wish and I hope that political wisdom will prevail. And it has been observed by the Supreme Court that Kerala is also part of India. You remember only few months back.
Yes.
And Kerala, I have seen last 4 months how deeply patriotic Keralites are. So, doing something which gives the impression as if they are alienated from the national mainstream, it does not serve the interest of Kerala. Only to that extent I feel concerned. Otherwise, you have every right. You have every right to differ. You have every right to hold to your opinion. You have even right to agitate. But using constitutional bodies for this is bit, that is bit problematic. But it may be problematic psychologically.
Yes, and it sets back
it may be problematic psychologically only to the extent where I am saying that nobody should try to give the impression as if one state is alienated from rest of the. No, that should not happen. But we must respect the right of each and every person or party or organization to have their opinion, even on a law which is passed by Parliament. What is not permissible is that you try to use violence and street power to impose your will on others. In fact, that is the definition of terrorism. When you use violence and through violence you try to impose your will onto others, that is what terrorism is. That should not happen. Otherwise, every right, and I greatly respect all those who have a different viewpoint. I've already told you.
Yeah.
I started my speech at Kannur with this quotation.
Yeah.
I believe I'm right, but I'm cognizant of the fact that I may be wrong.
If I may shift the focus to CAA, Citizenship Amendment Bill. See, there is some amount of anxiety among a section of the minorities what will happen to them, although the anxiety is absolutely baseless. But the detractors of the government, of the central government, have been very successful thanks to their orchestrated campaign, orchestrated propaganda, misinformation, to convert that anxiety into a sort of panic. Now, how do you address this?
You know, I have already told you what the problem is. Problem is that you don't want to talk about it. Because why they don't want to talk about it? Because what government has done through CAA is they have merely given legislative form to the promise which was made by Mahatma Gandhi.
Exactly. Mahatma Gandhi, Jawaharlal Nehru,
Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru.
Yes. Up to Manmohan Singh.
AICC.
Yes.
9th November 1947. All non-Muslims in Pakistan, as and when they choose to come to India, they are welcome. Up to not only Indiraji actually gave citizenship to these people up to 1970. Up to Manmohan Singh, and even further, our former President Pranabji as External Affairs Minister, Mr. Ashok Gehlot, in his earlier term as Chief Minister, writing to the Central Home Minister, Hindus and Sikhs from Pakistan, they are living in camps in utter poverty. We should try to formulate a scheme to give them citizenship and whatever other things we can make them available to live a comfortable life at the earliest. Why they don't want to talk about it? Because they cannot face these writings. What is the well documented statements? So then what happens? Taking advantage of the lack of awareness and lack of literacy, they try to instill fear in the minds of the people. It was the same fear. I will take you a little back. It was the same fear in 1986 when triple talaq was being described as law of court. What happened in 2017?
In the wake of the
Shabano. Same in the wake of Shabano. And what happened in 2017? Same Muslim Personal Law Board submits an affidavit before the Supreme Court. The only request they had was, you don't interfere in it. Triple talaq is bad, it is innovation, it is unjust, it is an enormity. We shall start a campaign against it and we will see to it that it comes to end. But you don't do it.
Yeah.
Suppose they had said the same thing in 1986. The country would have been saved from so much trouble. Up to 1946-47, free democratic India would mean end of Muslims and Islam, Muslim culture, Muslim language, Muslim ethos, and everything will just die down. Free democratic India. Therefore, we need partition. Same people who were influenced by this propaganda, what they started saying after 1971, after Pakistan was split into parts, we were misled into believing. We were misled into believing.
It was a blunder.
Simply because some confusion is created in the mind of the people, taking advantage of their lack of awareness and lack of literacy. simply because you are able to push them into streets, indulge in violence, that it does not mean that the point on which agitation is being made is a valid point. Wait for some time.
Yes.
As the realization come, after 1947 partition, realization came in 1971 that partition was wrong. After getting this law passed by Parliament to reverse the judgment of the Supreme Court, realization came in 2017 that the agitation for the reversal of the judgment of Supreme Court in Shabano case was wrong.
Yeah.
I am 100% certain that realization that CAA is not against any community. It is not to deprive anybody of her citizenship. It is only to give citizenship to those who have fled their homes to save their lives and honors. This is not directed against any.
Right.
And this law does not prevent the state, the government of India, from considering application of others who do not fall into this category, but they are also persecuted.
Okay.
Or they are also wrong. It does not prevent the government of India from considering their application for the citizenship. I am sure it won't take such a long period of time. It will happen very soon.
Before concluding this interview, see your bestseller, The Text and Context. I think it has added relevance now in the present situation. When can we expect a Malayalam translation of your work?
Well, I think some people have already started
translating it.
Translating.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
And when can we converse in Malayalam?
I will need your help.
Sure, I am always at
Well,
your
then I will start calling you and inviting you to come, so that you learn a language fast when you converse with somebody.
Exactly.
So only thing I can assure you is that I'm trying my best, and I really feel ashamed.
Okay, sir.
Thank
you so much. We had a very wonderful interview. You are very clear and categoric, especially about CAA and whatever has transpired in Kannur and other parts of the state. Now, 2019 has been a very eventful year for you. Your whole life has been eventful, but 2019 was more eventful. Let us hope and pray that 2020 will be much more eventful.
God willing.
Wish you a happy new year.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.